Hey everyone, sorry for the big delay. This is my recap of Canada's Drag Race, Season 1, Episode 4, Single Use Queens. It is a very delayed recap because I was at an online conference all weekend. I said at a conference and someone's like, oh, be careful. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm at an online conference. Like everything else in my life, I was on Zoom. It was a great conference, but it took every single second of my day, and so I got behind. So I had seen on Twitter that people were unhappy with the judging, and I was not at all surprised. The very beginning of this season, I mentioned that I have watched Canadian reality shows, specifically Project Runway Canada, and I did not understand a lot of the judging decisions. And when I mean that, I mean that the very first season of Project Runway Canada, I did not get the winner's fashion at all. The winner was Bedell, who was the judge on this episode. So as soon as I heard he was the judge, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to understand any of this because I didn't understand really his fashion, understand his fashion choices, and that kind of carried through. Now, no hate, any criticism I have or for the judging is not the queen's fault. Even when I criticize maybe people's behavior, that's not who they are. They're not just the sum of their behavior in one particular moment. I'm just saying that because I want to be able to say that we can have criticism without having hate. And I don't have any hate. So Bo and Boa have this fight I didn't really understand. Priyanka is hilarious. Jimbo wins, gets to make up the group. So Jimbo picks Tainomi and Alona. Oh no, wait, they group up and then Jimbo gets to pick their thing. So they pick paper. Priyanka, Boa, and Lemon get metal. Rita, Kiera, and Bobo get plastic. So I have my little note about Bedell being the Project Runway. I kind of have seen this show at like 10 minutes intervals every day for the past week. So it's a little fuzzy. I think the most important thing to talk about, I think that most people want to talk about, is that I felt like the judging was really confused. If you had told me that the judging on this episode was they like rolled a dice and they were like, okay, we're going to roll a dice and okay, plastic won. I didn't see plastic as the winner. Plastic for me was the easiest. Yeah, I guess it was the most cohesive, but and I always feel, and I have Trixie on my side who talks about this, which is like when she said, sometimes they get dinged for being too costumey, and he's like, I have a dick. Like, what do you mean costume? Like, of course it's a costume. I mean, like, it's all a costume. It's all presentation. It's like saying, if you were in theater and they were like, it's too costumey, and you're like, well, yeah, I'm in theater. It's like you were acting. Well, yeah, I'm in theater. Like, I have a friend who writes, well, I write fiction too, but her review was, it's like the author was making it up. And she's like, what do you think I'm doing? Like, that's not so that's kind of how I felt about a lot of the judging. So Plastic won, and I was like, okay. And then Rita won. I like Rita. I have mentioned that I felt that Rita should have won a different challenge, but I don't think Rita should have won this challenge. It's not Rita's fault. It's not like she paid off the judges to do it. So I don't blame Rita for winning. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I personally, it was like in every single case, whatever, if I said left, the judges said right. If I said top, they said bottom. I have no relation whatsoever to this judging panel. I can't even... I feel like it's Project Runway season, I think it was 3, the one with Jeffrey, Unconventionals Challenge all over again, where the blonde girl went home and one of the guys was in the top and you were like, it's a sheath dress with stuff on it, and it was totally confusing. I feel like that is a very niche joke, only for people who've watched Project Runway, the US version, so much. Okay. Anyway, so this is some of the things that I was confused with. Like, they got with Jimbo for having an artistic choice to only do the face, but then they haven't talked at all about, like, Lemon's done it twice. I thought Lemon's outfit was in the bottom the first week, but I thought it was better than her outfit this week, which they seemed to think was good. To me, it wasn't bad, but, I feel like if we were there, Michelle Visage would be like, you got to have some sort of illusion with your body. You've got to, use a corset. You've got to, you can't just walk down in a swimsuit, to Boa. I feel like a lot of them, don't own corsets. They don't pad. They don't wear any boobs sometime. And so for me, it's like really hard. I know some women have bodies similar to that, but most women don't have all three. It's rare. And of course, so I want to be careful because I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying you have to have this exact body type to be, but when you have none of them, but then I guess if you're, well, I mean, even Violet Chotsky was super thin and wouldn't pad, but did do a corset. So I feel like at some point, and like they really liked Bianca's. Okay, I felt like her makeup was underwhelming. I really like Bianca, so please don't take this as a criticism. I felt like her makeup was underwhelming, but they really got on Jimbo about the face, but then they finally got on Boa about the big, Jiffy Pop panties. But I just felt like it just feels a little uneven. It's not hate, it's just, I couldn't predict where this was going. I didn't predict. I would have put the metal in the bottom. I felt that there was a strong point of view in the paper. I felt like they were repeating stuff that we heard on Project Runway, but not always in the best way. I feel like telling Tainomi that she wasn't performing well enough, like, just defeated her soul. It just felt really bad. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but it just was like so brutal. It was like it was just really weird. And I'm not hating on the judges. I don't hate the judges either. I just don't necessarily know. Even though Brooklyn Heights is a drag queen, just because, like, I'm a writer doesn't mean I'm an expert in every kind of writing. And there's different kinds of drag. And, then they would say, like, oh, I like your confidence. And you're like, well, that's nice. Of course confidence helps, but that doesn't make up for a bad performance. And I just felt like it was a very confusing episode to me. Then Alona goes back in there and tells Jimbo, how dare you say it's cold? I think that they are mad about other stuff and took it out on Jimbo in that sense. This was one of Alona's bad low points. I'm hoping we'll see next episode. Maybe she'll come back and she'll say, I'm really sorry I lost it in their equivalent of Untucked. It was not a good moment. Doesn't mean she's a bad person. Blah, 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 blah. I hope we all are on the same page with that. It was a very tense, though. I feel like Tainomi, just whatever. I felt like Tainomi did a little better in the lip sync. Not that anyone really did bad. You saw, by far, the big takeaway was Jimbo in the background going, after they announced that. I think this was a case of, like, Tainomi's been in the bottom 3 times and you can only kind of save them so many times. I thought she looked great. I thought her makeup, I just found the whole thing kind of confusing. No hate. Please hit me up in the comments and tell me your thoughts. Did you clearly see why plastic won? Do you think that metal looked so much better than paper? I thought that the paper designs I would have put in the top. I would have put it in the top. I would have probably put metal in the bottom and plastic in the middle, maybe plastic in the bottom. I felt it was just really, I just found it very perplexing, and to the degree to where I would say maybe I didn't understand what the challenge was. So I don't know. Okay, I thank you for coming and watching, even though I was incredibly late. I should be back on schedule this week.